video, I'm going to be going over my personal top 10 favorite vehicles in GTA Online. Now, this isn't just going to be cars. This is also going to be, it could be helicopters, it could be motorcycles, it could be planes. Or this is just my personal top 10 favorite vehicles. And it's excluding the Kasaka. You all know I love that thing, but I see that more as a business than a vehicle I use to drive around. Now, none of the cars that are here in my auto shop are actually going to be on this list. Now, I do like a lot of these cars, especially this one right here. This is based off of the 918, the Porsche 918. I absolutely love it, but I just purchased this a couple days ago, and it may jump into my top 10, but I haven't really driven it that much recently, so that's why it's not in my top 10. This is also the Ferrari Roma that came out with the San Andreas Mercenaries DLC. I think it's a bit too heavy. I love the look of it. I don't like it in real life, but I think it's a bit too heavy. So anyway, what is my top 10? I've done videos on my top 10 favorite Benny's vehicles, my top 10 favorite San Andreas Autos vehicles, my top 10 favorite Legendary Motorsports vehicles. So you know my favorites within those categories, but what are my official top 10 favorite vehicles? And let me tell you, as I was putting this list together, it was actually really difficult because there's a few of them that I feel like tie, but I'll be showing you that anyway later on in the video. But anyway, let's start off at number 10. So in my number 10 spot, we have this thing right here, the Bentley Flying Spur, aka the Enos Deity. I absolutely love this thing. We have the stock wheels on it. It is a beauty. Now, for me, when it comes to vehicles that I love in this game, I mean, just look at this thing, man. This thing is gorgeous in real life. It's gorgeous in the game. Let's have a listen to it. Sounds so good. So when it comes to vehicles in this game, that's my favorite. It's vehicles that I just like driving around. It's not necessarily the fastest vehicles or the best handling vehicles. It's just vehicles that when I'm in them, if I'm doing some missions or I'm just having some fun driving around from business to business, it's vehicles that make me feel good and I enjoy driving. And this is definitely one of them. I think this thing is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I love driving this thing around to all of my businesses. And it just makes me feel like, you know, we're successful. We've conquered this game. You know what I mean? I mean, look at this thing, man. Listen to it. It's just an absolute beast. So this one, it was, you know, I could move this up, but I think as you'll see, the rest of my top 10 are awesome as well. This one was tied. But this one ended up taking the lead. But I'll show you what it was tied for a little bit later. All right, let's move on to number 9. In our number 9 spot, ladies and gentlemen, the Italy GTO. Absolutely love this thing. I did a video recently, and I was talking about this. It was on sale. I think it was one of my weekly update videos. And I was talking about how this used to be my favorite car in the game. And someone's like, why isn't it anymore? Well, I liked this thing when it first came out, and it was a few years ago now, and it was a really good fast race car, and that was mainly one of the reasons I loved it. But I also absolutely love the look of this thing and the sound of it. So let's get out of it and get back in and just listen to the startup of this thing. It sounds great, man. Let's have a little rev. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. It looks great. Again, for me in the car... excuse me. Me in the cars that I like, it's all about just feel. I don't care how fast they are. I don't care any of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Handling and speed is great if that's what you're looking for. But for me, it's all about how it makes me feel when I'm driving it. And this thing is gorgeous. And the same thing. If I'm driving to my businesses, I want to be able to drive like to this one right here, in a car that I absolutely love. You know, you just pull up, you check, make sure that you have some stock in your warehouse, go to your nightclub safe, stuff like that. When you're just driving around, just having some fun in the game, I like to do it in style. And for that reason, this thing right here is one of those vehicles. Absolutely love it. All right, let's move on to number 8. In our number 8 spot, we have the Ubermac Reinhardt, aka the BMW. I think I would go say this is a BMW M3 wagon, but it could be an M5 wagon. It just seems a little bit smaller. But excuse me, sir. Hey! You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this, I promise you. But here she is, ladies and gentlemen. Again, a car that I could see myself having in real life. Absolutely love this thing. And again, the theme of this is it's cars that I enjoy driving. It's cars that make me feel good. Cars that I can drive around to my businesses and just even almost feel like role playing. You know what I mean? You can pull up somewhere. This is what it's all about right here. Absolutely love this thing. Didn't think I would love it as much as I do, but let's have a little sound check. Yeah, man. This thing's sick. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love this thing. I mean, you're going to hear me say I absolutely love every vehicle in this list because obviously every vehicle on this list is in my top 10. Or this is my top 10 favorite vehicles. But tell me this thing isn't gorgeous. And I think a lot of it, too, comes down to the way I customize them. I think that the way that they came out was just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, this is my number 8. Let's move on to number 7. In our number 7 spot, we have the Cabrio S2, I believe this is called, aka the Porsche 911. Now, I never used to like this car in real life. I never used to like it in game. But something, I don't know, just... I don't know. Recently, I've just fallen in love with them in real life, and that's probably why I've fallen in love with this thing in game. It looks so similar to the real life counterpart. Let's put the roof down here, and I love it in like this dark blue in real life with a white interior. So that's kind of what we tried going for here. And I think just the sound of this, like Porsches in real life have a very unique sound, and I think they nailed it. Let's have a listen. Oh my god, I hate you, game. All right, so anyway, here she is. Let's have a little sound check. It's a beaut. It's a beaut. I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, I would daily drive this thing in the game. Like, I don't drive a lot of these cars as much as I would want to be completely honest with you. But again, as a car that you just drive around to go and do missions in, there aren't like missions where you need to like blow things up and stuff like that. Just missions where you have to drive around. This thing, to me, is just perfect for that. I absolutely think this thing is drop dead gorgeous. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section, but to me, this thing is just sick. I love driving this thing around. All right, as much as I want to continue driving this thing, let's move on to number 6. In our number 6 spot, shouldn't be too much of a surprise to anyone, is the Sparrow XO. Absolute, oh, excuse me, sir, didn't mean to get in your way there. Absolutely love this thing. Based off of the new Lamborghini Countach, I'm sure as you guys know. Absolutely love how this came out. The black and yellow's the only black and yellow car I have. But I think it just suits this thing absolutely perfectly. Let's do a sound check. Again, I don't know if you guys are getting bored of me saying how much I love these things, but I mean, come on. Come on. So with this car, it's a little bit controversial because there's another car that isn't even in my top 10 that we'll talk about at the end. There'll be a few special mentions at the end, but there's a car that used to be in my top 10 and I've completely taken it out, and I will show it to you at the end and you can let me know if that's in your top 10 or not. But This one, 100%. Again, love the way it looks. Love the way this one actually handles. And yeah, I couldn't do a top 10 of my favorite without this. All right, let's move on to our top 5. The Ferrari SF90, aka the Itali. Is it GTX, RTX? What's it? RSX. Got that wrong. Never going to remember all the names of these things, let's be honest. But this vehicle, again, I bought this thing recently and absolutely love it. It's not a car that I typically would buy in this game, not because it's not a decent car, more so because like I feel like a lot of like this style sports car always come out, and there's a lot of them obviously that aren't in my top 10, a lot of them that I don't even own, that I just am like, yeah, it's just another fast looking sports car. But this thing, as far as looks are concerned, absolutely love it. Now, I think the front of it and the side profile is what makes this thing just an absolute beast. The back of it, to me, is a little bit of a letdown. It kind of looks more like the Acura. I'm not sure, as the NSX, the new one anyway, the new Acura that they're discontinuing. I think this is the final year of it. Not a huge fan of the rear of the vehicle, but the side profile, the front of it, yeah, I mean, it's just, again, another one of those cars that I just love driving around in this game, if I'm just out and about doing things. Some of them, when we come to the top 3, of course, are not only going to be cars that I love the look of and feel of, but they are going to be things that I use day to day that I just absolutely love in this game and couldn't play this game without them. So anyway, let's move on. This is our number 5. Let's move on to number 4. A fan favorite on this channel, the Obey. Oh my God, are you kidding me? The Obey 10F wide body. Now, I have a video on me channel. I've got a video on my channel of showing the build of this if anyone wants to see the exact build. But I built this in my top 10 favorite Benny's vehicles. Obviously, this is a Benny's wide body. And it's kind of slowly creeping up the levels here. Now, would this be my number 1? It's getting close to what my number 1 is. And I know what you're thinking. How is it competing with number 1 if this is your number 4? Well, you'll see as the video goes on here. But this thing, let's have a little listen. It's just an absolute beast. And it's... Not only does this car handle fantastic, I love the handling on this thing, but let's be honest, the looks of this is, I mean, talk about a car that you would want to have in real life, man. I love the Audi R8 in real life. I think it's a gorgeous car, and I'm not a huge fan in real life of like aftermarket mods on cars. I like cars being pure as they're built, but having something like this, you know, if I was a rich millionaire, I would consider it. I would definitely consider doing something like this to an Audi R8. I just think it turned out perfect. And I love the color. I love everything about this vehicle. And that's why it's close to being my number 1 car, but it's also definitely in my top 10. Top 5, to be exact. All right, on that note, let's move on to number 4. No, this is number 4. Let's move on to number 3. In our number 3 spot, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, that is right. It is the Oppressor Mark II. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I kind of hated when they introduced this. It's literally a parasite to the game. I remember when it first came out, it was actually one of the main reasons I stopped playing GTA like 3 years ago, was because of this. Because in public lobbies, this thing, go away, this thing was just unbearable. Everyone was flying them around. It was pre the nerf they did recently, and it was just so overpowered. It still is a pain, let's be honest. If we're in a public lobby and we see one of these driving around, everyone hates it. But with that being said, as far as a vehicle in the game that is useful, this is different than my other favorites because I just love how they look and feel and driving around doing things. This is something that is just so useful in this game. I use it absolutely all the time, and it's just a great vehicle. Especially if you're a solo player and you just want to run around the map, you want to go to your different businesses, you want to use this to complete missions, it's just great. It's incredible. And I don't think it'll be in GTA 6, at least for like 5 years, to be completely honest with you. But if you enjoy it, you're going to have to enjoy it now in GTA 5. But yeah, this is definitely, it has to be top 3. All right, let's move on to number 2. All right, my number 2 slot. If you've been around the channel for a while, this should be no surprise to you. But it is the Banshee, the wide body Benny's Banshee. It's a smooth wide body. It doesn't have all the pivots and things on it. I absolutely love this. This is one of the first cars I built on this account. You know, it is just the red with like the bronze wheels. And it's one of the only convertibles that I think just looks sick. It's so long and just beefy. I also love the handling. This is my favorite handling car in the game. I love the rear wheel drive. I love that you can just whip this thing around. I love if you get to a traffic light or a stop street. Let's say excuse me, sir. Let's say we're turning left here, but you know what? I don't want to turn left. I just want to do a U-turn. I love that with this thing, you can just floor it and spin it. And it just goes wherever you want it to, man. This thing is just, I love it. I love the rear wheel drive on this. I love how it slides around. And it's probably one of my favorite sounding cars. Listen to the downshift on this thing. It's incredible. I just love it. It's got that little like drone whine to it. It just let's listen one more time to the down. One more. I love it. Absolutely love it. It sounds incredible. It looks incredible. I mean, it's based off of the Dodge Viper in real life. That's what the Banshee's based off of, I believe. Well, it's the closest thing to it. But it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. And not only is it just gorgeous, but this car, the Banshee, has been in GTA from the beginning. I mean, I remember stealing the Banshee from the dealership in GTA 3. You could break in. It was the only car in there. You smashed the window, and there was like a blue or a red Banshee sitting in there with a white stripe on it. It's part of the culture. The Banshee is part of GTA culture. And the fact that this thing is my favorite in the latest GTA just makes me happy. It makes me happy. Oh, man. I absolutely love it. But this is my number 1 favorite vehicle. Well, favorite car. Not vehicle, but as far as cars, this is by far number 1. All right, let's move on to my actual number 1 favorite vehicle. And in my number 1 slot, is anyone surprised? This is my top 10 favorite vehicles. And this thing, I don't know what I would do without it. I absolutely love the Sparrow. The handling on this thing is incredible. The missile spam that you can just continuously spam for when you're doing missions is incredible. Yes, this thing is made out of paper, so if you're fighting against people, it's going to get damaged very easily. But just the handling on this thing is incredible. Doing my Cayo Perico setup missions, this thing is great. Like one of the missions, you have to come and steal like the, I think it's the cutter. You can literally just come, it's literally right here. You could just land right down in here, grab it, and then just go on up, get out of here, and then on you go straight to your Kasaka. This thing, I can't tell you. Especially with the new hangar missions, like the ground hangar missions. Doing it with this thing is just life-changing. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I prefer my day-to-day air vehicle is going to be the Mark II. For me, it's this. This is faster than the Oppressor Mark II. It has just continuous missile spam. It's just a beast. I don't know what to tell you. I have fallen head over heels in love with this thing. And it is by far the most used vehicle I have ever had in any GTA that I've ever played. Like, there's never been a vehicle that I have used more than this thing right here. It is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I wonder if I can look at my stats and see if it would even show that this is my number 1 vehicle. Let me have a little look here real quick and see if it's even going to show that this is my number 1 vehicle. So favorite bike, obviously, is the Oppressor Mark II. We knew that. It just shows favorite bike. That's weird. But yeah, there's no doubt. If you've watched my videos, you know that this is my #1 vehicle. Absolutely. I mean, I just use it so much. Okay, so like I say, that is my top 10 favorite vehicles. But I do want to show you guys some special mentions because I do feel like there's a lot of vehicles, well, a couple of them at least that come to mind. One's a bit more controversial, and one of them is just, it's just an honorable mention. So let's take a look at that. So one of the first honorable mentions is this right here, the Schafter V12. Let's see if we can hear what this thing sounds like when you start it up. I mean, I didn't mean to take it out, but let's just have a listen to it. I mean, it is nighttime now, so you can't really see it, but yeah, honorable mention to this thing right here. It's an absolute beast. I've always loved it. It sounds incredible. You feel like a excuse me. You feel like a gang. You know what? I feel like a gangster driving this thing around. Yeah, it's a great car. Honorable mention. Same goes for this thing right here, the Ferrari F40. One of my all-time favorite cars in the world. Absolutely love it. I just hate the rear. They've made all these cars look so similar to the real-life counterparts, like the Rolls-Royce Cullinan right there, the Jag here, the Lamborghini Countach right there, the Porsche right there. But the back of this, maybe it's because they released this before they were making them look super similar. But either way, absolutely love it. But because of the rear of it, it's not in my top 10. Another honorable mention, which is the one that I was saying was a little bit more controversial, is this right here. I mean, this is based off of the Aston Martin Victor, which is probably my favorite car in real life currently, like looks-wise. I think they only made one of them. They made it look almost identical. And I said when this came out that it was my favorite car in the game. I said it was like the best looking car in the game. And although I do think it is still beautiful, I'm just kind of disappointed in it, to be completely honest with you. I think it's way overpriced. I think it was overpriced to begin with, but then they increased the price on it even more. And the handling isn't that great. For a car that's one of the most expensive like cars you can get, you would think it would be way more powerful than it is. And it's very unfortunate. If it was a little bit better handling and power-wise and a little cheaper, it would probably be up there. And I know I'm probably contradicting some of the things I've said earlier in the video when I said I don't care about the handling looks or anything, or handling and stuff like that. But yeah, just a little disappointed in it. A little disappointed. But anyway, that's going to do it for my personal top 10 favorite cars and vehicles in this game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm sure it's not the same as anyone else's out there. Everyone has very personal opinions on these vehicles, and I'm sure you have a lot more different ones. Maybe you have like muscle cars that you like. Maybe you have like tuner cars and things like that. Another honorable mention to the new Renault Sport, by the way, that electric vehicle. I do love that. The only thing is with that is it's electric. I love the handling of it. I love the looks of it, but I like to be able to hear something when I'm driving it. I don't want to hear like a, you know what I mean? So that's it. But this is my top 10. Let me know what your top 10 is in the comment section down below. Do you like my top 10? Do you disagree with my top 10? It's all personal preference, so it doesn't really matter to me because it's what I enjoy. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider hitting that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys tomorrow, as always, with a brand new video. Goodbye.